We're holding in the Maim of Vihine Porach Mateh Aharon, Tavshin Lamed Gimel, and Ois Hey. V'yuven zel b'masher kosav b'sidr ala posik yoim liyoim yabia omer. We'll understand this from what's written in the Siddur. Siddur means the Siddur of the Alter Rebbe, where he wrote a lot of explanations al pi Chassidus and Kabbalah on davening. So that's what's called the Siddur. There's a number of Sfarim that the Alter Rebbe wrote. You have Likutei Torah, you have Torah Oyer, which was worked over by his grandson, the Tzemach Tzedek, and also the Siddur, which has many Maimarim also. So it doesn't mean the Siddur we daven from. It's a Siddur that you could daven from, but it's full of explanations in Maimarim explaining different psukim that relate to davening. So in the Pasuk, which we say Shabbos morning, it's from Tillim. Yom liyom yabia omer, day to day yabia omer. There is a flow, a stream of speech of Hashem that creates the world. So in this Maimer, the Alter Rebbe explains shebiyamei achoyol yeshem kama ikuvim b'hamshochas hashpa l'mata. That in the weekdays there's many things that can hold back. Ikuvim means things that hold back, and ikuv in the drawing down of the flow from Hashem into our world. That's during the week. However, b'yom Shabbos, but on Shabbos, hamshochas hashpa he b'mehiris yavia omer, yavia loshen mehiris. That on Shabbos the flow comes down in a fast stream. The word yavia is loshen mehiris, goes quickly. And this word yiris, the Zohar explains that also. This is from the Zohar, that this is the word means a fast flowing stream of energy. In our context means the energy of Hashem's hashpah into the world. That Shabbos is different too during the week. That it comes in quicker. Why is Shabbos different too during the week? This he doesn't go into in this mimer that we are learning. The whole Shabbos is a different connection to Hashem. That during the week, and we see that we had the Lamates Malachas. We hold back. We refrain from the Lamates Malachas. We have a different day Shabbos with the Su'udos and with the davening, and with the Chazal tells us we have Neshama Yisera. So Shabbos is a whole different gili. Hashem rested on Shabbos. There's a deeper, greater gili of elokus into the world, and so our lamates malachos that we don't do, we refrain from the lamates malachos and the other inyonim, the assay of Shabbos. All of this is in order to be connected to this deeper level, and in this process is the Pnimius of Torah explains that the hashpah comes in a faster way. And in this whole explanation, what's the difference? How is it? What's the difference that sometimes you have the hashpah that there's an ikuv, and sometimes there's a hashpah that comes faster? The Alter Rebbe explains there. This is in the days of the week. It's possible that the hashpah that comes from above should be held back and not brought down below. Is commercial adam is like with a person. Commercial adam shedam besichle al eizer dover im royal asoisi im love. That a person is evaluating. He is if he should do something or not. So he's don besichle. He's thinking it out. Evaluating a situation. Im royal asoisi, is it fitting, proper to do it or not? And he comes to the conclusion and the resolution that it's proper to be done. That's his conclusion in Seichel. So he's thinking it out. He had, so to speak, a committee meeting within himself, thought it out. He says, yeah, Yep, it should be done. That's the maskona. It should be done. It needs to be done. And I'm going to do it. And the hachlota. There's a maskona and a hachlota. Sometimes you could come to the conclusion it should be done, and it's just filed away in the box that says stuff that should be done, and that's all that happens. Nothing happens except you concluded it should be done. The next step is you take it out of that file and you decide, I'm not going to do it. So he concluded not only that it should be done, but he's going to do it. Now, what happens next? He decided, I'm going to do it. And that's all the decision-making process. Nevertheless, is it could just stay in his mind. It could just stay as an idea and not come to action. It should be done. It makes sense it should be done. And I'm going to do it, but it just stays like that. I mean, we have that in many cases when a person would say, okay, you know what, I need to exercise or go on a diet. These two areas, Gashmis Dikazachen, are believable. A person goes to the doctor. The doctor says that you need to exercise. It's for your health. Need to have a better food intake, and so he thinks it out, and he concludes, yes, it's proper that should be the case. I've got to begin controlling my diet and have to do some exercise, and I'm going to do it. And after he thought it over, he came back home from the doctor. He thought it over. He thought it over, and that's where it stays. It's like a treadmill ends up oftentimes being an extremely good coat hanger, a storage place for clothes. That's why it's in the laundry, because after you take the stuff out of the washing machine, you put it on a coat hanger. On a hanger, you hang it up on the treadmill. So that it's not unusual, and you have committees like that also. But here we're talking internally. So what happens is that it stays in his head, and not only that, he says v'yisayir mizu. There could be another barrier. Shekasha dovin negei l'maisa b'poil. When it comes now, he's actually got to do something about it. It's relevant. Hushokel b'daita oid pam. He reevaluates again. Shokel b'daita. He evaluates it again. Im lasois b'poil kafi shekel b'sichli. If you should do it as the first resolution was. Now it comes actually to something's got to be done. He rethinks it. It could be that as he rethinks it, he doesn't have the resources. Or should I spend the resources on this? Should I spend the time and the effort, etc.? So when it comes down to actually doing it, we'd say he gets cold feet. Or even if it doesn't get cold feet, but he thinks it over again, if you should do it or not. Even though, so this is a common thing that we experience. So what's going on? Let's examine this process. He decided to do something. So how does that doing look? What is it? Is that a doing in the world of action, or is that a doing that belongs in his decision process? He says, Hagam shehachlota b'seichel hoshe sheroy lasos davar, even though that this resolution, this conclusion in his mind was to do something. However, mikol mokim kivin shehasiyah shenirgisha etzli b'achlotas seichel he hasiyah k'moshe klul b'seichel. Since this action that he felt in his conclusion in his mind is an action that's only in his mind. It's a siyah k'moshe klul b'seichel. It's an action that's got to do only with it's an intellectual action. Yes, it's in my mind, I got to do it. Therefore, he could just stay at that level. He could go to sleep afterwards. There's no push to actually do it. So he made up, and it makes sense to do. Where is that decision? It's an idea, an intellectual idea, abstract. It's in his mind. That's good. Therefore, when it comes into the world of action, and mice and action, that's not seichel. It's in the world of action, which is separate from seichel. he actually got to do something. Now is then tzarich lisayis v'ldodin b'sichlei oidapam im lasis kain b'poil. Then when it comes into the world of action, he's got to rethink it. He's got to review it again in his mind. V'ldodin b'sichlei oidapam im lasis kain b'poil, should I actually do it? So this is the process where you have on one hand, yes, I got it in my head, we're going to do it, and then when it comes actually to doing, he rethinks it. And when you go into the details, there's two steps. One is the conclusion in his, and the resolution in his mind that it's proper to do this thing, that doesn't force, that doesn't mechayves ma'isa, it doesn't spur him on to actually doing something. Why? Because it's an intellectual doing. Mekiven shehamaisa hakolul b'seichel v'hamaisa b'poil, because the action that's in the idea, and the actual doing, kimeshehu bifnei atzmei nifred ma'seichel, as it is in the world of action, separate from the seichel. These are shnei inyanim, heim shnei inyanim. These are two separate things. It doesn't automatically flow from the concept to the action. It's not the same as let's say, it's not the same as it's when you could be lying down with your arm on the table. You wake up but your arm doesn't move because it's so, you say the arm went to sleep. You can't move it. You can say I want my arm to move, but the blood flow isn't working good, and so you can't move it. That's an extreme. Here we're saying it's the idea. The idea in his mind is so, but it doesn't push it into action. And that the conclusion is in his mind won't bring it to action. He won't even think of doing it. It should be done. It's important to be done. I want to do it, but he won't make an action plan. That's one thing. That just because he concluded in his mind doesn't mean it's going to actually something going to happen. The Vesayrim Mizu, and an additional thing, when he comes to rethink it a second time, and it's actually something's got to happen. He's an it could very well be that he'll come up with a different conclusion. He'll decide not to do it, and he'll have to reevaluate the whole situation in order to do it.